I've got pre-workout, I've got creatine, and I've got energy drinks. Like, I'm not really bulked, I'm not huge, I'm not super swole. And as a normal person who has interest in working out and interest in fitness, what have I taken and what do I like? And I just want to share that with you.
What is y'all saying? Y'all playing introduce. Hey, G-I-E, cut a loose. Call this the shutdown, break a fuse. B-I-G, everything, do it like that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and we're just going to jump right into it. So this is what you can expect from me today. I'm going to give you an update, a life update, some of the things that I've been doing since the last week, and then we'll go into kind of the meat of the podcast, the meat and potatoes, which would be, this week I want to talk about some of the supplements and the things that I've been taking, why I take it, and some of the ones that I have been experimenting with. So if you're new, the Level Up Podcast is a show where I talk about all things that I've been trying and exploring in an effort to be a better person. And that just means kind of all things life, self-development, mental, career, fitness, health. We're doing it all. So since we last spoke, let's talk about some of the life updates, and then we'll kind of go into what I want to talk about, which would be supplements, things that I've been taking. And it's not an exhaustive list by any means, but I just want to share. All right, so it's been a pretty fun week, pretty balanced, I would say. So since we last spoke, I didn't travel, which was a nice breather. Although I love travel, it is kind of nice to just be getting back into my routine. And I ended up going to a dance class, which I hadn't gone all month. Today's the third week of March, and I hadn't gone, so I really missed it. And we ended up we took the class in Fiend. I did an intermediate hip hop class, just jumped right into Fiend by Travis Scott. And I think that was a really fun one. I had a blast. My toe kind of hurts. I had a toe issue before where I was like jumping on it and having too much pressure, and then I had to lay off of it. I even went so far to go to freaking like an orthopedic surgeon place. We went in and I was like, I don't know what's happening. I mean, I weight trained and they said, no, that's probably not it. We're looking for something that would have like a kind of a forceful impact. And it was probably dance. So I'm feeling some of that flare up. It's actually the same toe. And I remember joking with somebody who was out of the gym for a week or 2 weeks because he had a broken pinky toe or like a fractured pinky toe. And I was just like, oh my God, your pinky. Wow, you don't even need that. But like your big toe, come on, you need that. Well, anyway, there's always these things that you can modify. Like instead of doing a box jump, you can do a box step up, just anything that is a little bit lower impact. So I need to watch it, man. I got these old bones. I can't keep up with these kids. So on Fridays, it's intermediate level, all ages. And yeah, there are a lot of really talented kids, teenagers, high school students, college. I feel like, I go there and I look at them and my back needs to be popped or like my neck needs to be cracked. And anyway, I try to fit in. I feel like I can pass. I wish I could pass, but let's see if they'll let me infiltrate as I continue to go. So the song that we danced was to Fiend, F-E apostrophe or exclamation point N. So F-E exclamation point N. And I think, what is a fiend? Like, what was his attempt to describe what a fiend is? My understanding is a fiend would be more like a fiend, F-E-I-N-D. Okay, which is your enemy. So let's figure out what he meant by that. Fiend meaning. Okay, pronounced fiend, stylized in all caps. Okay, that doesn't help me. What does fiend mean? All right, Reddit will tell me. Oh my God. Okay, an addict. So somebody said short for caffeine. Oh, and then someone else says fentanyl. Fentanyl, or if you're an addict, and a federal employer identification number. Oh my God, these people are tripping. This is why I needed to be recording my screen whenever I do these things, because people are just so freaking funny. All right. Well, there you go. That's the song I danced to, and it was so much fun. One of my goals when I started off the year was to dance at least twice a month in a class setting, and that means I got to do it again this week or the weekend after. I have friends coming in from out of town, so it's got to be this week, I think. Yeah, so that was that. So much fun. And then I ended up having the opportunity to go on a rare date night with my husband, Horton. And so we went out to a really nice tapas place called Iberian Pig. And he was joking, he's like, "Oh yeah, you gotta dress Iberian." How do you dress Iberian? So I just responded, "No, I think I'm gonna dress like a pig." And it was just a cute little moment. But it's a beautiful place for a date night. We went pretty early to enjoy the happy hour while we started off our evening. Especially we don't want to start too late in the evening because, we have to have a babysitter and they're gotta be with their daughter and stuff like that. So we went over there and it was bright because of daylight savings time, and it was early in general. And then when we went in, it was dark. It was like, wow, we're just like in a pub now. But it's not a pub vibe. It's beautiful, great for date night, lots of tapas. I'd been there once before with coworkers, and this time I went for a date and it was so much fun. Would recommend, would go again. Yeah, I think it hasn't been like quiet work wise. The workload is about the same, but with work, it's been a little bit less. There's been a lot of meetings. It's hard to say, but I feel like I have to meet with my team and then I have to meet with the domain. And so the meetings of the domain have been shortened, and that gave me a lot more time to just start strengthen relationships, meet people from my new team, and then I had a little bit time back. I also have a coworker who was traveling to the Philippines. So a lot of the time last week was a bit different than our normal cadence of meetings. And it was, I guess, a refreshing pace. All right. So I took the opportunity for the change of pace, and it was spring break. So a lot of people with school-aged kids were out. They were traveling, doing vacation. So on Monday, I got an eye exam, and I was really a little bit shy about it, but I was like, I know I have an astigmatism, but is it possible for me to get a prescription for some color contacts? And when I was in high school, I was obsessed with color contacts. I'd wear these like sterling gray, which made my eyes look blue, and which are too stark right now. Like, it's just not the vibe for me. But what I would love to see is like a lighter honey brown. So that's what I got. I'm waiting for them to come in, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to switch it up. My eye doctor, or my optometrist, was so kind. She passed no judgment. She was like, yeah, it's kind of fun for once in a while. But they had so much difficulty in their old dated system to be able to add two prescriptions. They needed one for my astigmatism and then another set for the other brand, the one that I wouldn't normally wear. Well, hopefully it's all worth it because I want to look cute. Well, that's what it's going to come down to, honey. Like, I don't care if I'm blind. I just look at me with my cute eyes. So come closer so you can appreciate my eyes. I don't have to look at you from so far. I'm mostly kidding, but I do really like the idea of just playing with eye looks, playing with hair color, nails, the whole thing. So speaking of eyes, my lash extensions are finally on their way out. Like, I just have a few strands dangling, and Horton really loves them. And I'm like, oh, you love them, huh? So maybe it's something we can keep? We'll see. So that's kind of an update from the week to date. Now, let's talk about the supplements. So if I haven't mentioned this before, I pretty much take, let's see. So we're not talking about prescription medication. We're just talking about supplements that I use to help with my training and how to up my game. So pretty much protein is a supplement that I will take to have in between meals. It's never a meal replacement for me. I don't typically get very hungry in the morning. So I'll have a protein shake until mid-morning and then have a proper meal. But I do recommend eating breakfast, like unless you're trying to do intermittent fasting. I find that anytime I have a nice breakfast, it kickstarts my metabolism and I get hungrier for lunch later. So I don't know. I feel like that means something and means something good, especially if I'm working out in the middle of the day, but it just doesn't always work out that way. So I tend to have protein shakes in between meals, and I like to drink muscle milk. It does not have the best taste. The one that I get from Sam's Club and Costco only come in a chocolate flavor. It's not too sweet and it has like a bit of that powdery chalky taste, but you can get used to it. Like it's not so terrible that I can't drink it at all. Like I can just chug it and call it a day. I got over the taste thing. So the Muscle Milk has the best ratio of sugars and proteins. Muscle Milk. Let me look at it. All right, so the one that I take for Muscle Milk comes in the chocolate flavor. You can get it at BJ's, you can get it at Sam's and Costco. It has 25 grams of protein and 0 sugars. So there's some kind of sweetener in there. And this is also non-dairy, which is great. Maybe that's why it tastes like that. The one that I would say is second to that, but also has the best taste, is Premier Protein. So I don't get powders anymore. I love the convenience of the pre-mixed cartons. For Premier Protein, you can get them with 1 gram of sugar and 30 grams of protein, which is excellent. And for context, most of them ones on the market that I'd seen before I became familiar with these brands would have things like 4 grams of sugar, 3 grams of sugar, and only like 20 or 25 grams of protein. So Premier Protein has the best ratio, I think, but they do have that 1 little gram of sugar. Favorite flavors there's so many flavors of Premier Protein that I can get that are great. I'm just going to look at some right now. The ones that I had really liked were, they have a strawberries and cream one, which is great. I don't mind the vanilla, but I would much rather have their coffee one that has like enough caffeine as a cup of coffee, and it really tastes good, especially over ice. But I will mostly drink these at room temperature. And then another really good flavor that I like, if you like peanut butter, is a chocolate peanut butter one. And it tastes kind of like a Reese's Hershey. Is it Hershey? No, a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's so yummy. There's tons of really great flavors from Premier Protein. Love them, but I've been in the Muscle Milk train for a little while. I can always mix it up. So those are the 2 proteins that I'll alternate with. I recently had a trial taste of Truvani. So if you're looking for something more organic and vegan, Truvani is expensive, but it tastes really good and it's easy to drink. You just toss in water and you're good to go. So that covers the protein. In terms of energy, before I do a workout, I'll take one of these 2 things. I'll either do a pre-workout, and lately I've been enjoying Alani Nu's pre-workout powders. So you can get them from anywhere between $25 to $40 for the same amount. And all of that really does is help give you a lot of energy to help jump into the workout. Now, you don't need to have this. When I first started, I was talking about it. I did my research around pre-workout, and a lot of the professionals who train and were coaching me were saying, like, you just kind of need caffeine. Like, you don't really need this. If you have the money, it's going to help. If you want to save money, it's not a requirement. So if you're well rested, if you're getting enough sleep, you can get around this. But I love like that amped up feeling. It makes me feel like I can really go for it and really push. So the one thing that Alani Nu does do is it will give you that like buzzy feeling. It's almost like the feeling of your foot falling asleep, but in your whole body, and not in a way that's numb, but more so of like you're energized and amped up. And I'm trying to see what is the ingredient that makes it do that. Okay, so the ingredient that makes you feel that way is beta-alanine or beta-alanine. And there's also caffeine in here, about 200 milligrams per serving, no sugars. It's kind of sweet with that artificial sweetener. It's actually very sweet, so it's easy to drink. I love to throw that in a shaker bottle with some ice, and then maybe I'll dilute it so that I can keep feeding myself a little bit of that throughout the workout. If you're looking to try something like that, but don't want that feeling, look for something that does not have beta-alanine. And then look for something that, you could also just do caffeine, straight black coffee, just toss it back and get ready to go. And then the thing that I hear people recommend always is to just make sure that you're taking a smaller amount and gradually building up to the serving until you can understand how your body's going to react to it. And now at this point, I should make a disclaimer that I don't have any expertise in health or food wellness. These are just things that have worked for me and how I've experimented. And if you're trying something, always contact and consult a doctor. Allegedly. So I'll pretty much either toggle between an Alani Nu pre-workout or an Alani Nu energy drink. And I have other favorites too. Like I like True North, which is a very clean formula. This one, you can tell that there's a lot of artificial sweeteners in here, but it's only 15 calories, 0 sugars. This one does not have the beta alanine, but it does just give me a boost of energy. It doesn't say here exactly how much energy there is. Oh, 200 milligrams of caffeine. So this is great because it's pretty much a similar formula from their pre-workout, but without the beta alanine. Similar taste. This one just doesn't have that jittery feeling. There's biotin, B6, and B12, and then enough caffeine as a cup of coffee. So you can get those for about, if you're buying bulk, it might be like $2 a can. And then finally, you can always replace that with just coffee. Like I'm going to say that 5 times over. Don't let the expense of these things hold you back from having a good workout. They're just things that I've built into. So the next thing that I would take is creatine. So if I know that I'm ready to get bulked, like I'm really going to push for a good workout, then I'm going to take the GNC creatine. And I was doing some research for myself and seeing how I would want to change the way I do servings or things like that. So a lot of people say that you can take it before or after. It's on the bottle itself. You can take the creatine before and after, and this is going to help with muscle recovery. And especially, I felt like that's a nice addition. It's one of the highest researched, creatine is one of the highest well-researched vitamins and supplements for muscle recovery. So that's something that I've been taking. It's not a specific formula for men or women. So I take the 5-pill dose, and a bottle will last you a month if you're taking it every day. I do not. I take it like after a really strong workout. It does say that you should take it with a lot of water. And I agree. I noticed that I feel a little bit thirsty after taking that medication or that supplement. So that's creatine. And I was looking into it. Like, I'm not exactly family planning at this very moment, but if you are pregnant, there has been some evidence and research to say that it is safe to take. Again, consult your doctor or your prenatal doctor and all of your OBGYN and all of those things. Allegedly. So then the last thing that I would take, so I talked about the creatine. Let's talk about some things that I used to take that I stopped taking. And one of them would be BCAAs. So BCAAs or BACAs or BCAAs, that is something that's meant to help with stimulate the building of protein and muscle and possibly reduce muscle breakdown. Oh, I thought it was actually also supposed to help with hydration. This is something that I didn't really find an issue with. It's just something that I had eliminated from my practice since then. I don't think there's a real risk of my adding to it. It's just not something that I've needed to seek out just yet. So that stands for branched chain amino acids. What else did I used to take? I used to take collagen. I was really interested in it. I've experienced a lot of hair loss and I continue to experience hair loss. But one of the things that I've attempted to do is just do the drops on the hairline, and then instead of drink collagen. To be honest, I just didn't feel like drinking that many things. I want my counter space back. And although many of the things that I tried that are no longer part of my routine are well researched, it's just not something that I've missed, so I've eliminated it, but it doesn't mean that I might try it again later. Okay, so that kind of really sums it up. It's just a simple routine. I've got pre-workout, I've got creatine, and I've got energy drinks. And sometimes I'll take a break from the pre-workout whenever I'm feeling super anxious. I feel like it's not that helpful, but I did feel like I wanted to share as a normal person. Like, I'm not really bulked. I'm not huge. I'm not super swole. And as a normal person who has interest in working out and interest in fitness, what have I taken and what do I like? And I just want to share that with you. So what should I be taking? What do you recommend? If there's anything out there that I mentioned that you really love, let me know, because I'm curious. I'll be interested in trying. And what about you guys? Any of these, draw some interest to you? Let me know. And until next time, let's just level up together. All right, guys. I hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.